Welcome back, guys. So welcome back, guys. Today we're with the Kunjista, and hopefully today is going to be a day where we talk about the Ucat, more like a genuine conversation rather than the 35 to 50 video course that I've put out on YouTube, so you guys can check that out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you have disappointed me. But nonetheless, I'm here with
Abu Tarab, and we're going to be discussing, just have a normal, genuine conversation about our experience.
Yeah, basically he's copying me. So he's copying me. I just said that. Like I said, today's going to be a very chilled out conversation and basically a summary of everything that I've gone through. It's not going to be an hour long. It's going to be like 15 minutes. And some of the experiences, the regrets of Tarab as well as myself. And basically, let's get straight onto it. So let me actually put this down because it's a little bit distracting. One of the first questions we're actually going to answer is, why would someone take the Ucat? And I know it's a little bit generic, and I know if you've done my course, you know the reason why. But for some people who don't know, why would you take the Ucat?
Obviously, first of all, you need to take the Ucat if you want to get to most of the universities here in the UK and also in Australia, right, and New Zealand, I believe. Yeah. So obviously, you need to take the Ucat if you want to apply to universities for you to get the offer. One of the misconceptions, let's mention some of them, is that people think you can't possibly revise for the Ucat. Now, I didn't believe that, but I still didn't put the effort in to revise so much for the Ucat. Now, obviously, I use Medify, and obviously there are other websites, Medic Portal and all of that you see on the YouTube ads that you can possibly be using. Past
Medicine as well, that's for free. That's a free service that people can check out.
So they're all services that you guys can check out. And obviously the Ucat ebook of MedShark, so check that out. Links will be down there in the description below.
I have to stop you 1 second, just because this video is like a plug-in video. On top of that, guys, I kind of forgot to put this in the intro of the video, but I will be giving away 2 free packages of Medify, which should really help you out. The way to apply will be to subscribe to the channel, comment the reason why medicine below, so that I can select the right person.
And then you just give them the Medify account, the details, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, guys, I think it's very good, and it's for Ucat, right?
Yeah.
Everything's free, basically.
On top of that, the reason why we're giving this out is because Medify is providing a series of videos that are primarily for visual learners. So you'll be able to see on screen a video of roughly how it will be. So you'll get the collection of videos as well as value for your money, basically. So guys, check that out.
Links will be down there in the description below, so obviously check that out.
100%. Basically, with the ebook now, it's running over 450 medical students in New Zealand as well as Australia as well as the UK. So it's not like something that I'm joking around with. You guys can check out the reviews. It's actually a success. Praise be to God first and foremost, and then praise be to myself. Joking, obviously to my parents and to my friend who's helped me, Abu Tarab, and to my other friend Tamid Rahim. I shouted you out. So yeah. Okay, so basically carry on.
Okay, going back to the misconception, guys, you need to revise, and you need to, okay, when should we revise? Let's talk about when we should revise for the Ucat, when to take the Ucat, because I feel like that's one of the most important things. So obviously this year is completely different due to the COVID. When did the Ucat start? In August, right?
I believe it did start in August. I believe it started this Monday. I think it actually opened this Monday. Yeah. So I think it's either August the 2nd, 3rd or 1st, and it's gonna end like October, mid-October from what I know. The standard is that it opens up in July the 1st, and it goes until October the 2nd. Obviously this year, coronavirus, COVID-19, that sort of stuff, or conspiracy theory, pandemic, that's what some people like to call it. When should we take the Ucat? Now, in my ebook, I speak about the optimum time to revise.
When to revise for the Ucat?
Yeah. When to revise to... I mentioned that, yeah? And he's trying to interrupt me. I give 6 weeks, and obviously I break down the schedule. I might put it on the screen as well, just so you can see that small page. I talk about week 1, week 2, week 3, and up to week 6, where I show the breakdown of hours, as well as questions that you need to take. So hopefully that will benefit you. On top of that, when to revise. Now, some people will be thinking, why am I answering a question like that? When to revise is actually so important. Now, if I'm advising a person to revise 4 to 5 hours a day, it's a little bit crazy to be able to revise all of that midday, because that will ruin your whole day. You might not be able to work, you might not be able to socialize with your family. And
remember, we're talking about the UK is always in the summer, so you're not going to be having any school. And also, obviously, you're going to be putting a picture up on the screen with the graph of how if you do revise more than 6 weeks, from what I know, the optimal way, the time that you should study before is 6 weeks, right? Okay. So you don't want to revise 3 months before. Okay, do you understand what I mean? No, I get you. Because you're not in that mood yet.
That's why some people refer to it as the concept of peaking. In its entirety, I don't really believe in it, but to a degree that does exist. So 100%, the time that I advise to revise, it's a little bit of a mouthful, is the morning time. Now, I primarily like to follow the prophetic tradition, which is obviously revising in the early mornings. Now, nowadays it'd probably be like 5 AM, put in those 2 hours till 7 AM, and if you want, get an early day. getting an early day. We all know the quotes by like Warren Buffett and all those sort of ones. I'll put them on screen as well.
How they wake up at 5:30 and then they become billionaires, whatever, all of these videos. But it's very effective because 5:30, as I said, we mentioned this in the previous video, so we don't want to go too into it. Why it's very important to wake up in the morning. You reckon 2 hours in the morning, right?
Basically, we're following the checklist. So the first 2 weeks, it's 1 to 2 hours. The third week is 2 to 3. And then when you get to the fourth and the fifth to the sixth, it's like 4 to 5. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but do remember that this test requires practice. The way I see it, and the way that I've taught it, 35 videos plus, it seems so wrong me just plugging the videos, but you can revise for this test, and if you revise, you'll reap the benefits. Now, there'll be many people who won't get the medicine offer, primarily on the basis that they don't perform as well as they should have, or they don't see the Ucat on the pedestal that they should see it. Now, obviously, people will have their regrets. Take the advice, because I've seen a lot of people not get what they want.
Well, let's talk about when to take the Ucat, like actual Ucat. When should we take it?
Okay.
This is quite different. I like to take the early Ucat, like, as soon as I can, possibly. Not as soon as I can, but I would say July is the best time. End of July to take the Ucat. Reason being is because I took the early BMAT. Now we'll be doing a separate session later on with the BMAT, but there are 2 BMATs. Like there is the early BMAT and there is the late BMAT. The early BMAT being at the end of August or at the start of.
Okay, so before that, obviously it's coronavirus. So basically what it means that this year there is no early sitting. From what I know, there's only going to be a late sitting.
The entire process has been changed,
so
basically.
The point that you've mentioned is that yes, if you're taking the early sitting for another year, it'd be advised, like you'd be advised to take the Ucat like July time, but obviously even the Ucat wasn't open at July time. So this year, I'm sorry for basically interrupting, but I hope
it's fine.
It's relevant for the people of this year. The best time that I advise to take the Ucat would be late August, early September. Reason being, if you search up online the interim results, and that is essentially the results before September the 1st, you always see that the interim results are way higher than the overall test cycle results. So basically the results from September until October, so you see a massive decline. So it shows that those that take it later on tend to perform worse. Now you're probably thinking why.
One of the reasons I'll mention is probably because by that time A-level has already started and you're going to be having lots of work. Your teachers are going to be, you're going to be doing Ucat stuff because 15th of October is normally the deadline for medicine and whatever, veterinary science and dentistry. But is it still 15th of October this year?
I believe it hasn't changed. I haven't checked, but I believe it hasn't changed.
Is that you're going to be doing your personal statement, and you're going to be applying to uni, you're going to be doing lots of stuff, and the last thing you want to do is take the Ucat late and then panic in 2 to 3 weeks thinking, oh, what uni should I apply to? Do you understand? Which is another reason why, again, you mentioned we don't have an early BMAT, but if you guys watch this the year after, if we have an early BMAT, it's smart, because when you take the early BMAT, you know exactly which uni you can apply to. Do you understand? Because if you take the late BMAT, you're going to get your results after you even applied. Do you understand? So you got to be smart with your time. So right now, I 100% agree with Pranjista on applying.
He nearly baited out my name, sir.
I think 100% end of August to early September is the best time you can be taking. But one more thing, guys, is that you want to book the exam much earlier, because you know the dates at your exam center can be booked up. Did you know that, right? Guys, it's very smart for you to always book the exam early, because you can change the date anyway. Like, for example, I booked my exam very early, so then I had the spot and then I could change the date later on.
Now, hopefully, I'll just be giving a few advices, not necessarily when it comes to per section, because we have like a ton of videos on both our channels, so you can go check. When I was taking my test, what happened was that in the SJT section, the computer froze, and it meant that I had to be relocated mid-exam. Now, one thing that you don't realize is that within the UK CAT once, like whenever you start a section and your computer freezes, you don't get the time back. So the time will keep on going, and the time that you transition from one computer to the next, it's still going.
That's a big L, bro. That's a big L, because last thing I would want is something to happen to my computer when you're already going through stress. Do you understand? So within the exam, after, let's say, the verbal reasoning section, you know whether you've done good or not. Do you understand? You know that this was not the best thing to do. I just wanted, sorry for interrupting, but I just wanted to say one other advice is that if you're a person who revises in the morning, then I would say ideally take the exam in the morning. Do you understand? Like 9 o'clock is the first time, I think, that you can possibly take the exam. And if you're a person who normally revises for the Ucat somewhere in the evening, then it is better for you to take it in the evening, because since you've been revising for 6 months, your brain is going to be 6 weeks. Sorry, you're gonna your brain.
So basically, what Torab's saying is that once you've conditioned yourself to work within a period of time, make sure that you take the test in that period of time, just so your brain's more active and that you're used to working in that period of time. Now, one other tip that I'd give is that computer checks. Now, I have a video on this that you can see on the screen right now, and it's 3 really important tips. Now, one of them is that when you enter the test center, you're not used to the condition. Make sure that you just sit down and condition yourself. What do I mean? So what I mean by that is that you sit down and you wait until you adjust to the condition. So whether it be the temperature there, whether it be the seat height, that you change it.
That is a huge difference, and the brightness makes a huge difference, because you're going to be looking at the screen for like 2 hours and you don't want the brightness to hurt your eyes or take unnecessary things off your pocket. And make sure you come wearing something that doesn't bother you. Don't come with like too tight clothes, because I feel like sometimes when you do that, your mind is just going off. And remember, you need to be fully concentrated, especially for this test, bro. Do you understand?
100%. I know this seems a little bit trivial when I'm telling you to check the brightness and all that, but do remember that with certain universities like Queen Mary, there is a cutoff. Now, the cutoff is like, even if you have amazing UCAT scores, you will not be accepted if you get below the UCAT cutoff.
And the cutoffs are crazy, bro. Like, in the sense that, like, sometimes you're so close to the cutoff and you realize, wow, like I could have got an offer or something, but I didn't get an interview simply because maybe, that day the brightness was too high. And just simple stuff like that will make a huge difference. Try to wear some kind of earphones or something, like noise reduction stuff, because I realized that when I went to my thing,
which is present there, yeah? So there are noise reduction headphones there.
Yeah, so do they have it there?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, I don't think I've actually used them, but what happens is that, remember, there are other people in that same room taking an exam that is shorter than your exam. Do you understand? For example, there were people taking the theory test, which is like 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, yeah? And then these people would finish early and they would put their hand up. When they have a problem, the person would come in and they would have to be talking, and you just don't want to be spending extra time listening to another person's conversation in a time where you don't have any time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So now, going on to a topic, what we wish we knew before we took the UCAT. Obviously, we've had 1 year, and obviously in this year you hear new stuff and you're exposed to more stuff. Now, for me personally, one of the biggest regrets about the UCAT was that I didn't take as many UCAT official mocks as I should have. Now, there is nothing closer. No matter how many Medify mocks you take, no matter how many past medicine mocks you take, nothing is the same as the UCAT official practice papers. If you don't do them, then you're in for a surprise, because obviously not every question is going to be like Medify. Not every question is going to be like past medicine. And obviously past medicine is a free application where you can use to do questions. So by me not doing the official UCAT papers, I was at a major disadvantage. Praise be to God, it wasn't too bad for me. But again, I honestly wish that I'd done all of them. You should do all of them. Don't prioritize Medify mocks necessarily if you know that you're not going to be able to do the UCAT one. So whether that means you have to reschedule, and I know I've said that, but if you have to reschedule, you can reschedule. You have like 3 days.
Yeah, and it's actually quite easy to reschedule. It's just kind of like a driving test. It takes you like 2 minutes, bro, to really reschedule. Then obviously you get like some confirmation email, that's it. But one more thing is that what's important, that you take the UCAT slightly later than some other people, is that you can get some good information from your friends who already took the UCAT. Now, obviously, in our case, we knew so many people from our school that actually went and they took the UCAT, like 70, 80 people, more than 100 people almost, who wanted to do medicine. And what you understand is that you can ask people who took the exam before you, and you can ask them maybe what score they got, maybe why did they get so low, why did they get so high, some of the tips that they can give you. Because remember, you might be doing 1 million mocks, but you have not done the official test. You didn't go to the place. You didn't have that same mentality, that same stress that another person would be going through. Whenever you're doing mocks, for example, like when I was doing mocks, bro, sorry, 1 second. When I was doing mocks, I wasn't worried at all. But the moment I literally stepped in, I was like, wow, I have only 1 shot. Do you understand? For the entire year. And I could be possibly losing an entire year and not getting to med. So that's why it's so important, guys, that you ask the people that took the exam before you on their scores, how did they, what was the entire experience like, do you understand? And it's better to ask those who done it recently. For example, we done it like a year ago. We don't know how it's going to be this COVID-19 year. So ask the people who done it right a few days before you. They're going to be telling you the best tips. And honestly, that helped me so much, bro.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's why sometimes I get the question asked to me on MedShark, is the Medify mocks the same as the Ucat sections? Now, the only way...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good, but I wouldn't say it was the best. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, I think I was honestly scoring very high on some of these mocks, but I feel like in the real exam it's slightly different, bro. The format of the question is different. Do you understand? Not fully, but in certain bits, like, you know, situational judgment, I remember there was a different set of question. Do you understand? So
what I was gonna say, just following on with what Torab was saying, is that to have those friends is a must. They will tell you which section Medify is good at. For example, many people have told us that the abstract reasoning section was roughly the same as the official UCAT mock. The QR section was apparently easier in the real exam. However, the VR section was apparently way harder than the real exam. That's what a lot of people said. Like many people, I think the average was very low when it came to the VR section on the official UCAT exam. Now the SJT section isn't the best on Medify, but it's still good nonetheless. It's still good for your value, for the money that you're paying for a massive package. So again, that's just...
Medify also have BMAT stuff as well, so just in case, guys, they got lots of other little things that you can pay for, and for the price wise, I would say it's worth it.
So guys, just giving you a summary of the advices that were given here. Torab, just wrap it up for us. Give us not a short wrap up, but give us a motivational wrap up, something that inevitably does happen, because Torab's statistic, the one that he mentioned, hopefully I'll put in a snippet, if not I'll say, is 1 in 10 people get into medicine. And inevitably that might mean that a lot of you guys watching may not make it, and don't lose hope. So Torab,
100%.
wrap it up for us.
One more thing that I wanted to say in terms of the UCAT is that, first of all, guys, UCAT is a very tough exam, and not only that, remember, you're competing. The UCAT is all about competition. Do you understand? The cut-off scores that you see in different universities is simply because of the fact that other people are doing better than you. Do you understand? So it's an entire competition that you're going against. And not only that, you're not competing with average people, you're competing with some of the best applicants, because all of the people who are taking the UCAT, no one's going to be taking the UCAT for fun. People are taking it because they want to get into medical school, and medical school, as we know, is one of the toughest courses to possibly get into. And as I said, many of the statistics is 1 in 10 people. Depending on some of the universities, it's even harder, 1 in 14, 1 in 15 people.
Imperial, but that's a separate BMAT exam,
So generally speaking, with the entire medical school examinations, they're very tough, and the entire point is that most of the people will not be making it. So roughly 90% of the people will not get into medical school. So what we want to say is that you shouldn't lose hope. First of all, if you don't do good on your UCAT, there is obviously the BMAT that you can do. There are also other things that you can do. You can possibly take the UCAT, I think, the next year, and then get in 1 year after. You can take a gap year, and maybe you can do lots of things in this gap year. Or you can get through clearing by getting very good A-level results, and I think possibly doing your UCAT again, which again is hard, but there are many different ways to get. Or you can do postgraduate entry, or you can even go to a different country. Do you understand?
On top of that, sorry for interrupting, is that we have a postgraduate and studying abroad video that you can check out as well. You can check out our clearing video that should be on screen as well. So we have a lot of resources so that you know exactly where to go from it. And carry on, my brother.
And guys, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, is what Cringist is doing is a great job, because when I actually got into, I was thinking about getting into med. To be honest, I was thinking about getting into med for a long time, but I really did not know a lot of the stuff in year 12. Like, I didn't watch proper UCAT videos until I finished my AS levels, do you understand? So that's when I started focusing on it, and a lot of the times I was confused, bro, and I didn't know what kind of YouTube videos to watch, or I didn't know how exactly all of it is broken down. So the fact that you made all of these videos, and again, guys, the links in the description below are going to be the most important thing, so check them out. You're going to see all of the step by step what to do so that you don't make mistakes, or just so that you can avoid some of the mistakes that we made, and hopefully they would be a big game changer. Do you understand what I mean? So 100%, guys, don't lose hope. That's the main thing that we're going to say. And make sure you work hard, revise, understand the tips, and work smart as well as working hard together, because by the time you're watching this video, maybe you still didn't do your UCAT. So don't think of it in a negative manner that only 1 in 10 people get in. That should be something you think afterwards. Do you understand? So right now, that's not the main objective. The main objective is that you work hard, get the UCAT and possibly the BMAT, and get the A-level grades, which is the most important thing. A-level grades, which you possibly, if you're in year 12 and you're watching this, you have an entire year. So it's not like a short notice thing. So make sure, guys, you work hard, work smart, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you check the links down there in the description below. Obviously, check the Instagram of MedShark and my Instagram. They will all be up there. They're very important, and we're gonna be doing daily, or you do daily updates, right, from your students. So it's very important, so you can see how people who are following the MedShark account, what kind of scores they're getting. And not only that, you have an entire community, and people can even make group chats and help each other out. Do you understand? So that's pretty much about it, bro. Wrap it up, go.
Alright, guys, take care. That's
Perfect, akhi. Akhi.